This video is going to help you learn 5 key vocabulary words for the parts of the circle. So let's start in the center. I think it's probably pretty obvious that that is a point right in the middle. And the cool thing about a circle is that all the points along the outside of the circle are the same distance from the center of the circle. So if I'm thinking about how far it is from this point to the center, that's the same as the distance from here to the center, and the same as here, and the same as here. So that's kind of what defines a circle, that all the points on the outside are the same distance from the center. And we're going to give this point in the center of a circle a name for, let's just call it A. I could have called it anything, but I'm going to call it point A on our circle. We'll use that in a minute. Okay, the circumference is the distance around the outside of the circle, kind of like, well, it's exactly like the perimeter of the circle. You've been learning about how the perimeter is the distance around the outside of something. So I have traced now the circumference of the circle. That's the distance around the outside. A chord is a name for a straight line that connects any 2 points on the outside of a circle. So let's take a look at one chord. This right here, pretend I had drawn that really straight, would be a chord. And then we could, because it touches 2 points on the outside of the circle, one here, let's call that point B, and then it touches a point here, let's call that point C. So if we wanted to name this chord, we could call it line segment, so that's just a straight line to indicate a line segment, BC. And we read this line segment BC, or chord BC. The thing is, there are tons and tons and tons, probably infinity chords on this circle. Let me show you a couple more. This would be one. This would be one. This would be one. We could just go all day long connecting any 2 points on the outside of a circle. This would not be a chord because it doesn't touch 2 points on the outside. And that wouldn't be a chord because it doesn't touch 2 points on the outside. Now, I want to show you a special chord. This right here is also a chord because it touches 2 points on the outside, but it's a special chord because it goes through the center, and that has the name of a diameter. Okay? So the diameter is a special chord that goes through the center and touches 2 points on the outside of the circle, kind of like the distance across. So we could call this, let's name the ends of the points where it touches the circle. Let's call this, we used A, B, and C, let's call it D and E. So we can name the diameter, line segment, DE. That's how we would write it. There are lots and lots of diameters. I'll draw some with my laser pen. Ooh, I missed. Hold on. That's a diameter, crosses through the middle. That's a diameter, crosses through the middle. There's the diameter. You can just go on and on forever. There's lots and lots of diameters. It doesn't matter where you cut it or measure it. As long as it goes through the center and touches 2 points on the outside, it's a diameter. And then finally, a radius is half of that length. It goes from 1 point on the outside of the circle to the center of the circle. So I'm going to draw one. That right there is a radius. Let's name that point that hasn't been named yet. So let's use G. We haven't used that letter yet. So we can call our radius line segment AG. All right, so let's use those new terms that we have to find parts of circles in real life. So we have a bike here, and we want to see if we can find a radius, an example of a radius. And remember that a radius is a line segment joining the center and any point on the outside. So I can take one of these bike spokes and go from here to here, and that would be a radius of this bike wheel. The diameter, remember, is a chord that goes through the center. So I actually see 3 different diameters. If we're talking about this circle right here, down the center, let's do it in a different color so you can see it better. Right down the center, there's a diameter, passes through the center. There's another diameter, and we can see the diameter of that one there. Here's a pie that is beautiful, that looks delicious, that someone cooked, and I was looking at how those are made, and I noticed that the first step, right here in the corner, includes lots and lots of chords. Check out how this is a chord because it touches 2 points on the outside. That's a chord. That's a chord. And this, we had lots of chords. So all of them start with chords and they're different lengths. If we had one that went right through the center, a strip right there, we could call that a diameter, and it would be a special chord. All right, now looking at the circumference, remember that's the distance around the outside, and this blue pad we could show is the circumference of this trampoline. And then finally, if we are looking for the center of a circle, I'm sure you know where to find that. This point right here in the middle where all of the hands of the clock meet, and remember that each point on the circle, no matter where we are, it's the same distance from the circle around, from the center around.